When, at 7:30, Ben boarded the coach, he was already feeling sleepy. He hadn't gone to bed until well after midnight the night before, and waking up before 5 a.m. was beginning to taking its toll. After the teachers did a quick head count, and then another 2 just to be sure, the coach set off. 22 adolescent males, 19 gossiping females, and 5 unlucky teachers. Ben had managed to grab a window seat. His friend Chloe sat next to him, whilst Mike and his girlfriend, Gabby, sat opposite them. Several more of his friends were occupying the seats behind and in front of them, and for the first leg of the journey they all chatted excitedly about the week that lay ahead of them. A little after 9 they stopped at a motorway service station for breakfast. Ben was starving. He hadn't eaten since his slice of toast, and that was almost 4 hours ago. Ben ordered a traditional English fry-up, with sausages, bacon, eggs, hash browns, tomatoes, baked beans, fried bread and black pudding. Plus a large glass of orange juice, with free refills. "You," Gabby wrinkled up her nose, "how can you eat that?" "What?" Ben asked, stuffing sausage into his mouth. "I'm hungry." "How can you be hungry already?" Chloe asked, "Surely you only just had breakfast." Ben shook his head. "Nope, I forgot breakfast this morning." He didn't want to try and explain to them why he had been up so early. None of his friends knew about his bedwetting. He'd had to tell Mike once, when they were both 10 and on an overnight camping trip with the Scouts. The 2 teenagers could not be more different. Ben was small and quiet, he was clever and worked hard at school, and although he wasn't unpopular, he was too quiet to ever call popular. Mike was the complete opposite. He was a large boy, captain of the school rugby team. He was loud and popular, he was intelligent, but he spent more time clowning around in class than he did trying to learn. The 2 boys had been in the same class since they started school aged 4, but had never really been friends. However, on the Scout trip they had been put in the same tent. Ben had soaked his sleeping bag, and Mike had noticed his wet pajamas in the morning. Ben had been sure Mike would tell everyone, but he'd never told a soul. After that they became firm friends. Ben looked up to Mike for being so accepting of his problem, and Mike, having been trusted with his friend's biggest secret, felt protective over Ben like an older brother. But that night was 8 years ago. Mike would have expected Ben to outgrow his problem many years ago now. Since that night, his first ever overnight trip away from home, Ben had not stayed away from home again, thus avoiding the need to disclose his secret. And now he had the nappies, tucked right down at the bottom of his bag, to make sure no one had to find out on this trip. When they returned to the coach, Ben started to feel even more sleepy. His large breakfast had left him feeling full, and Ben was finding it hard to keep his eyes open as he tried to listen to Chloe's chatter.